Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, Miracle Flights helps more people in March. The Mars will be at AirVenture, and we're not talking about the planet. The White House says FAA reauthorization bill can do more. I'm Bree Cross. It's April 18th, 2016, and this is Airborne Unlimited. Medical flight charity Miracle Flights ended the month of March with a record number of coordinated flights, conducting 745 missions carrying patients to hospitals and doctors across the country. Since 1985, the nonprofit Miracle Flights has provided free commercial airline tickets so that seriously ill patients may receive specialized medical care and second opinions from experts throughout the U.S. Each year, the nonprofit helps more and more families, quickly approaching their 100,000th flight. Marky Brown, CEO of Miracle Flights, said in part, quote, "We're still a few hundred flights away, but once we make it, our 100,000th will be a day to remember. Those flights represent real people, even entire families, that have been granted the hope of a healthier future." If you're looking to see something really different at AirVenture this year, EAA has just announced that you're in for a treat. The gigantic Martin Mars aircraft, the world's largest flying boat ever put into active service, will make its first trip to Oshkosh. This floating, flying monster stands 38 feet tall, has a length of 120 feet, and a wingspan of 200 feet. It's powered by four 28-cylinder Pratt Whitney 4360 engines, commonly referred to as the Corncob. Only 6 were built during World War II, with Coulson flying tankers owning the 2 remaining examples since 2007 and using them as water bombers. Because this airplane is a true flying boat, it will be parked near the EAA seaplane base on Lake Winnebago. It will also fly several demonstrations at Oshkosh throughout the week during the daily afternoon air shows. If you've never been to the seaplane base at AirVenture, you have missed out on one of the really neat things that you can do while participating in AirVenture. Now there's even more of a reason to take the short bus ride to the Sea Venture at AirVenture. We've always prided ourselves on raising the bar, sometimes dramatically, as we bring you all the news that's fit to fly over the Aero-Verse. Now we're pleased to tell you that we're readying a number of alterations and upgrade to Airborne itself, including getting yours truly a co-host right now and even more staffing this summer. Over the next few days, we'll be introducing Christopher Odom, an accomplished videographer and budding aero geek, as well as new schedules, features, and additions to the Airborne program. We're really excited for the future of Airborne, and we expect you'll find a number of reasons to be as well. More to follow. After the break, the OMB gives advice to senators about FAA reauthorization.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. If you would like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. The Obama administration Office of Management and Budget has sent a letter to Senators John Thune and Bill Nelson, the chairman and ranking Democrat on the Senate Commerce Committee, saying that the FAA reauthorization bill could be improved. In the letter, the OMB says the administration appreciates the Senate's bipartisan effort to advance an aviation reauthorization bill, but that the 18 months covered by the Senate plan do not provide the long-term certainty that the FAA needs to advance on its critical priorities. In the letter, the OMB says the legislation does not go far enough in the areas of safety, security, and the environment. It says the administration has concerns about the 2-year timeframe for certification standards for small UAVs. It questions provisions about increasing security at smaller airports, saying it would strain TSA resources, and that regulations about air tours over national parks should not be relaxed. Finally, the OMB says that the bill should, quote, do more with regards to infrastructure improvements. Each week, we share with you an online video that one of our viewers found especially entertaining. We call it our Aero Video of the Week.
Final liftoff of Atlanta.
I wasn't aware of the fact that I was on fire until a gentleman out of the prop shop came running and waved at me.
Precious Metal, the unusual and spectacular unlimited race plane, suffered a ground fire last year that necessitated a major rebuild. Here's a video to bring you up to date on the damage and the plans for rebuilding the aircraft. Search Precious Metal April 2016 on YouTube. After these messages, airBaltic firms order for Bombardier CS-300s.
Redbird Flight Simulations is dedicated to revolutionizing flight training by designing, manufacturing, and delivering affordable and innovative flight training technologies. Each Redbird device is designed to enhance the training experience for pilots of all levels, from student to ATP. Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Welcome back. And now I'd like to introduce you to Christopher Odom, and he'll be taking us around the patch.
Thanks, Bree. Working with the Aero-News team this month at the Sun and Fun Fly-In was like a merry-go-round of news, fun, and even more sun. I'm excited to join the team and bring you today's Around the Patch. Latvian carrier airBaltic has converted its remaining 7 options for the Bombardier CS-300 aircraft to a firm order. This brings airBaltic's CS-300 order total to 20 aircraft. airBaltic will be the first airline to place this aircraft into operation. The U.S. Navy destroyer Donald Cook received a serious buzz job from Russian military jets while in international waters in the Baltic Sea. The Russian jets made 11 passes extremely close to the destroyer. The incident is being reviewed through State Department and Navy channels. Pilot groups are lobbying hard to have the Boxer Amendment added to the FAA reauthorization bill. This amendment would allow pilots of cargo carriers to have the same crew rest requirements as pilots from passenger-carrying airlines. A federal wrongful death lawsuit was filed last week against the Airline Training Center in Arizona by 80 families of victims of the Germanwings Flight 4U-9525 pilot suicide disaster. The Airline Training Center is a company of the Lufthansa Global Airline Organization. FlyersRight.org has appealed the FAA's denial of its rulemaking petition to halt further shrinkage of airline seats and legroom. The organization called upon the FAA and Congress in 2015 to set seat standards so 90% of passengers can fit without any additional charges. And that's it for today's trip around the patch. Back to you, Bree.
Thanks, Christopher. It's great to have you on board. The U.S. Department of Transportation issued an order last week proposing to grant a foreign air carrier permit to Norwegian Air International. When made final, the permit will allow Norwegian Air to begin operations in the U.S., including the first ever service between Boston and Cork, Ireland. The Airline Pilots Association, which has long opposed the carrier's expansion into the U.S., said the decision exposes serious flaws in U.S. aviation policy that the union asserts must be corrected to safeguard fair competition for U.S. airlines and their workers. Norwegian Air's business plan has also prompted an outpouring of bipartisan concern from Congress. More than 200 members of Congress have sent letters to the U.S. Transportation Secretary Anthony Foxx, calling for him to deny the NAI application. Norwegian Air points out they will continue to hire hundreds of American-based crew members and bring thousands of tourists to the United States. They also note that they are flying Boeing aircraft. The carrier currently has a firm order of 149 Boeing 737s and 787s valued at more than $18.5 billion. During the past 7 years, Norwegian has taken delivery of 103 new Boeing aircraft. With everything going on in our Aero-Verse, it's hard to pick out any one thing that stands out above another. Yet if there's one thing that affects every area of aviation, it's got to be avionics and electronics. Whether it's an angle of attack indicator for an ultralight, connectivity for passengers, or an avionics installation on a modern bizjet or airliner, avionics and electronics touches just about everything in aviation. That's why we at A&N are excited about the upcoming Aircraft Electronics Association annual convention that kicks off next week in Orlando, Florida. Our A&N staff will be there opening day on Wednesday the 27th and will be reporting live throughout the week. Our live online broadcast will begin with the opening ceremonies as we cover the address by FAA Administrator Michael Huerta. Then we move on to our live new product introductions called the MPI. The MPI allows you to see and listen in as product vendors represent new developments in the areas of aviation, electronics, and avionics. On Thursday and Friday of the event, our televised coverage goes live for 3 hours each day, bringing you more news and information as we talk with the movers and shakers in this innovative aspect of our Aero-Verse. If you can't be at the convention, let A&N bring it to you. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive real-time 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us and a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news from the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource.